Debricked measures the quality of a community with our open source health metrics, currently being popularity, contributors, and security. These metrics are built up in 3 layers. First, we have the top level layer, the general area that you want to measure, in this example, the contributors. Then you have the second level layer metrics. You can think about these as the questions that you need to ask in order to determine the top level metric. For example, for contributors, we ask how experienced are the contributors? How efficient are they? Is it a diverse community of multiple contributors, or is it one guy maintaining this project? How active are the contributors? Is there a core team that is committed to the project? And do contributors stay with the project for a long time, or do they do one commit and then leave? Then the third layer is all of the individual data points or collections of data points that it all consists of. Each of the layers are aggregated upwards using a set of weights that are set by Debricked. Going back to our Discord's transcripts component, we can now analyze all of the different health scores, digging deeper as we need to. Overall, it looks okay, but not great. But for the purposes that I'm using it, it's good enough, and so I feel comfortable importing this component. I purposefully chose to demo a smaller, lesser-known component to highlight that we're able to create actionable metrics even for smaller projects. This is achievable since we have a flexible system that when we cannot find all of the data points, it will find as many as it can and still achieve to set a metric score. It also helps that we keep a clone of the entirety of GitHub that is updated on an hourly basis, which allows us to have coverage for most of the repos and packages in the world. If we look at a more popular package like React, you can see that there are some more metrics and points, and the data is generally a bit richer. I also want to highlight a few strong benefits to looking at metrics in this way, as opposed to looking at the data points, such as number of stars, directly. It allows you to get a bird's eye view of how good the communities are in these areas. For example, how good they are at dealing with security-related issues, as opposed to just how many open vulnerabilities do they have. This is quite key, as I would much rather import a library that has a vulnerability but has a track record of solving vulnerabilities in a timely manner, as opposed to importing one that has no vulnerabilities but that historically has taken years to solve the ones that they did have. It is also much easier to compare components and actually do a fair comparison. To illustrate this, consider the question, how many stars is considered good for a project to have? The answer is that it depends. For a front-end framework, you will want tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of stars, as for React. Whereas for more niche research areas, 100 might be excellent. In our metric-based system, we're able to account for this, making for fair comparisons. Lastly, and much because of the previous points, metric-based systems lends itself very well to set company-wide policies. Stating that a project must have a community health score above 50 makes more sense than saying it must have 300 plus stars, for the reasons mentioned above. Lastly, you can of course see the health risk of packages already existing in your repos. Go into a repo, click the Dependencies tab, and you will see a list of all dependencies in this repo, complete with the health scores of the dependency.